So, Joe, have you seen the latest video from Samuel Leeds?
Oh my God, yes.
Have a look.
Yes, it's you know what? I started watching it. It had such a negative undertone to it that I had to just keep skipping through bits. So I'll be honest, I'm not sat there and just I'm watched it through. I'll be totally honest. Because I can't be arsed with negativity and it sounded so negative. I don't know what your take was on that, but I will be honest, I'm not sat and watched it all through. I've just skipped through bits and listened to little segments of it.
Yeah, got you. I've watched it through, and obviously, I've been in the space for a few years now, as of you. We can see
Yeah.
things differently to what other people, freshly coming into this game might see and hear and how they take it. So let's just really depict Samuel's video, and then we'll just have our take on it. So this is the intro to the video, right?
Did you know that you can start deal sourcing and start doing rent-to-rents without spending a penny on compliance? Did you know that in the United Kingdom right now, you can start sourcing property deals, running rent-to-rents, making tens of thousands of pounds a month? You can build a six-figure rent-to-rent business and even start doing joint ventures and buying property without spending a single penny. Legally, I'm talking on licenses, registrations, redress schemes like the property redress scheme, the property ombudsman, anti-money laundering, ICO, public indemnity insurance, or any of the compliance rubbish that you've seen so many times on the internet, all over the internet. It's all nonsense.
It's all nonsense.
It's funny because I learned that I have to pay for it all from him and from his videos and from his training. So that's the first thing that comes to me when he says it's all nonsense. I don't know where you learned it from. All these fake videos or whatever the actual wording it was said online. People just trying to get clicks. He's the one who told me.
So he's the one that told you you need to get compliant. And now in this video, he's saying it's all nonsense. You don't need any of this, any of this, any of this. Why do you think that?
So he did something similar a couple years back, actually. I'd probably say 2 years back, maybe. It was a similar situation because I sent one of my friends to one of his class courses because he's like, oh, I'm interested in property, blah, blah, blah. He said, I just don't know if I've got the money right now. I said, right, that's fine. Obviously, as you know, we do free Zooms. Come on then. But then Samuel's doing a crash course in Manchester. He lived in Manchester. I said, just go do it. It's a quid. Get a feel for property. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. I'd rather you spend a quid and say it's not for me than spend, a couple of grand and go, oh, it's not for me. So I sent it into that. And this must have been 22, 23. And he said, Simon said we don't need compliance. I was like, I mean, you do. So it's interesting. So he has been saying this for a little while. But what I realized on Company's House at the time, he was telling people to use a certain SIC code. And I probably should have done some more research, but I can't remember what the SIC code was. But it's basically you classify your business as something along the lines of business where not else is going to be classified or something. It's basically just like, yeah, we don't fit in any category.
Just B2B.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. But you're not actually stating what your business is doing. You know clearly what your business is doing. You know what the industry's in and this, that, the rest. And that's interesting. However, this is where it comes down to the arguments of, do you have a separate business for deal sourcing? Do you have a separate business for this? Do you have a separate business for that? So yeah, straight off the bat, there's a lot of mixed signals that he's been saying for the last few years. And this is kind of come to fruition in this video.
100%. What I really want to give people the impression of after watching the chat between me and you, because we're both rent-to-rent mentors in the space. We're very established, experienced, coached hundreds of people. So we know what people need. You've been fined before by, being caught out on the compliance by just not renewing, not having it.
Literally. Yeah.
Literally not reviewing. Yeah. So you've been fined. So let's watch this video. And so I've got this one, and no doubt Samuel will be taking it down as soon as he discovers it.
Okay.
You can watch all of my YouTube videos about property, but if you skip this one, you could literally end up getting huge fines, going to court, and potentially facing time in prison. Because I'm going to be talking in this video about compliance. I talk a lot about deal selling, rent-to-rents, joint ventures, lease option agreements. Do you have any idea how regulated these are becoming right now? Because if you rent a property and then rent it out for a higher amount, do you realise by contract, you need ICO, you need insurance. You're not having that huge because the government are making examples out of people. And you could be that person. You could go and package a deal and sell it. Yeah, just make £3,000 because I watched Samuel Leeds video. But then you end up in prison because you missed part of the compliance.
So that's interesting. But you know what's funny about that?
You were going to prison.
What's funny about that is he's just done the exact same video about Simon Squibb. I don't know if you saw it. He did it. He only released it a couple of days ago, and he's basically Simon Squibb was basically telling people there's people in the streets giving away, like Red Bull or something like that. They give away free drinks every now and again to promote it. And he went up to him, why are you giving this away? This sugar, it's crap for you. Da, da, da. But then Samuel said was a hypocrite because he also posted a video where he was asking Mr. Beast for loads of his candy, and he'll give it out on the streets for free. And he's also creating some candy himself, and he wants to give it away for free. And it's like, well, it's exactly the same thing. And this is what I'm seeing, saying one thing and then saying the other thing down the line.
That recent video I just showed you is only 2 years ago. So I haven't seen any drastic changes in compliance in the last 2 years, apart from the renters reform bill, is going through changes. And that, I won't go into that at all, but that's a massive hot topic. Everybody kind of wants to know, keep up, but it's still so early. That is at least a year before any changes come in place. With Samuel saying what his recent video is, you do not need any compliance, is all nonsense, to only 2 years ago saying if you do not have this you will go to prison. What's behind the scenes in terms of, you know, what are we seeing? Because I see a different picture as opposed to people wanting to start in rent to rent and get trained and join mentorships, find a mentor. So that's what they're seeing. I'm seeing Samuel's marketing strategy perspective. What's he leading up to is what I'm seeing, and the actual true message behind this video. So what's your take on the perspective?
So my take, and I want to give a little bit of backstory in case anyone's watching this and they don't actually know who I am. We probably should have actually introduced ourselves if any new people come in to watch this.
We just assume everybody knows us.
It's true. So a little bit of a backstory about me. I started in rent to rent 2019. Got myself a mentor. It wasn't Samuel Leeds at the time, it was somebody else. However, I got into property like most people do by stumbling across Samuel Leeds videos on YouTube, and I thought, oh, this is really interesting. Got myself a mentor, and for all that, got some rent to rents. COVID hit, didn't really do much for a good year or something during COVID. And then I wanted to get back on it. And I think I went to a Samuel Leeds crash course. It must have been maybe 2021. Was COVID? Was it 21 or 2020?
Both.
It was a bit of both. I think it was 2021. It's like lifting, you can do a bit. So I think it was then I went to a crash course, and then I signed up to his DSM because I was finding good deals. I had rent to rents myself. I was finding good deals, but there was one bit of me that was somewhat missing. And that was, for some reason, even though I had good deals, I couldn't sell them. People didn't want to buy them. I thought, this must be something. So even if I spend $3,000 on a course, which it was 2,995, I spend that on a course, even if I get that one little missing element, that missing jigsaw piece, that could make me make thousands. And you know what? In the future, I did end up selling a lot of deals, and it's paying me back. To try and stay on topic about me, been in property for a little while. Fully CPD certified, which means I'm fully accredited to teach rent to rent. I've jumped through loads of hoops to do all this sort of stuff. And I only solely specifically focus on rent to rent and deal sourcing, but mainly rent to rent deal sourcing, not BRRs, not flips and all that. Some people say, oh, you do deal sourcing, can I do this? I strictly tell people I only focus on rent to rent. Deal sourcing is part of that, but we only focus on a rent to rent strategy of deal sourcing. So just want to clear that up. I know a little bit about rent to rent and compliance and all that. I paid $3,000 for his course. On that course, that was when Alistair Cunningham was still part of the whole Samuel Leeds group.
Who?
You don't know Alistair?
Who?
So I don't know if you're being sarcastic right now, or you generally don't know. Because I think you actually got into the Samuel Leeds ecosystem to some degree. I think after Alistair had left. So that's fair.
No, it was whilst he was there. And I,
Okay.
was loving the whole network. And you go on Wikipedia and you search Alistair Cunningham, and his net worth was 21 million. But did you know that anybody can just edit? You can edit my Wikipedia profile.
I remember learning that in school in like 2009. It was great.
Let's just leave it at that. Leave it at that.
Yeah, don't ever trust Wikipedia. So it was around then. So interestingly enough, I paid $3,000 for the Samuel Leeds DSM, which is Deal Selling Masterclass. It is 2022. This course was. It was held just outside of Birmingham. I can't remember the actual area. Just outside of Birmingham. Great course, some great people there. It was fantastic. But Alistair actually took the DSM. He was the one who took the DSM course. So for it all, I will say Alistair was the one who taught me with e-compliance. He had a very successful, probably the #1 deal sourcing business in the country, maybe at the time. I think he's sold it and all that stuff now, but hell, at the time, very reputable person. However, I don't want to say Alistair told me to do it because he was working for Samuel Leeds and it was all governed by the Samuel Leeds company at that time. So I don't want to sit here and start throwing Alistair under the bus because although he was the one on stage presenting it, he was being paid to be a mentor by Samuel Leeds. So it was under the Samuel Leeds organization, so they should hold the responsibility of that. But yeah, I was told I need compliance. I need this, I need that, I need this. And you know what? I moved out here 6 months ago. I still had all my Samuel Leeds books that I give you at the courses and all that. Got rid of them 6 months ago. It'd be great if I had it here in front of me now, because I would have pulled it up and said, look, here's the compliance that it says we need to buy. You might have them. But you know what? I'll probably be able to get it online. I'll probably still have a login or something to his website. I'll probably be able to pull it up.
It's all there. It's all there. Or was.
So, yeah, long story short, they told me, I can't speak for everyone, but they told me I need to be compliant. And they told everyone in that room, you need to be compliant, and these are the compliances you need.
It won't take much research to go on his YouTube. Just put in the words deal sourcing and compliance, and you could even dive deeper on ChatGPT, and it would look at the transcript as opposed to watching every single video. So there's been many videos where I've seen of Samuel Leeds when I first started of exactly this. You don't have to become compliant straight away. Become compliant at the time of selling the deal. Use the funds
Mhm.
selling the deal to get anti-money laundering, PRS, ICO, whole compliance, and that is fine. Alistair said exactly the same. I can remember watching a Q&A with Ricky, Alistair, and Samuel, and they were just all three there talking about compliance. So for Samuel to come out and say it's utter nonsense, his true agenda, in my opinion, is this. And let me show you what I mean. So on this video, right, huge fines for not taking deal sourcing seriously. So he's created his own regulator, you know, only accessible if you're an academy member, by the way. And it's £1,000, and it's £1,000. It's £1,000. The benefit of it is you do not have to set up compliance for a separate company. So if you want to set up a company for deal sourcing, you have to get all of the compliance. Then if you want to set up a rent-to-rent HMO business under a different company, you have to get all of the compliance again. With Samuel's PIMS scheme, one membership covers all of it. Right? That's the same job, probably. Is it better? Is it worse? I don't know. Essentially, you still need compliance. Otherwise, why is
So I'd be interested to look, sorry to cut you off there, I'd
membership?
be interested to look at that PIMS website, because when I first saw that video, I went on it, I said, oh, this is actually really interesting, because I thought if one job does all, I might sign up myself. So I jumped on that website. So I don't know if it's still there, but if you go on that and go to the FAQ page, this was 2 years ago I looked at this, by the way, so it might have all changed. Well, insurance questions. Does PIMS include insurance? All right, so I need to buy insurance as well.
Do we need to get insurance? Need takes out depends on everything. So he's covered his own ass there, which is fine. Anti-money laundering. Do you need AML? Normally you won't require AML if transactions are below 10,000 euros per person. If you're unsure, take this test. So again, covering his ass. Does it include ICO? Does not include data protection registration. Members are individually responsible for. However, in normal course of business, if you are holding personal information purely for invoicing and record keeping, which I understand, you don't need it. But if you're not sure, take the test, right? I think what he's selling, this is my take on his most recent video, is he's gearing up to really drive this. For people that
what does he cover in this? Because he just said there, we don't get insurance, we don't get ICO, we don't get AML.
What disputes?
Am I just getting a redress scheme?
Provide redress to businesses which find themselves in situations that could be remedied by way of resolution rather than having to go straight to the small courts. Okay. In the 6 years you've been in business, how many complaints have you had that had needed to go through something like this? Zero. Exactly the same. Zero.
And this, you know what? And I wanted to touch on that point as well, because it's not the fact that I'm naive and I've just been lucky. I tell all my mentees this: if you do business well and you do it ethically, put yourself in other people's shoes, why would you ever have a serious complaint? The only time people get serious complaint is one when they get greedy and they just want to take someone's money for no reason, really. But that's kind of it, really. That's the only point.
Two, no accountability for their own actions and want to put the blame on the mentor for them not succeeding.
I was just going to say, so that PIMS is a redress scheme.
Pretty much.
But I can sign up to the PRS for 150 quid for the year. How much is the PIMS?
Let's have a look, see how much it is. Okay.
Oh,
£2,000. Is it discounted if you're an academy member? £2,000.
2,000. And what do we get?
Doesn't include ICO. Doesn't include AML. £2,000.
Like, I'm not, and this is where Samuel's, like I always say, is such a good businessman. He's creating an ecosystem within the Samuel Leeds organization. You sign up to you go to his crash course, you then sign up to a course, you then sign up to he's giving you all, because he's not going to stand on stage. I mean, I might be completely wrong, but this is how I see it as a businessman. He's not going to stand on stage and go, we've got this product. However, PRS is only under 150 quid. Why not sign up to that one? I can't see that happening. He's going to sell his products. It's his business. Got attaches. He's got links to it. He's just building this ecosystem. You know, it's like when you go to Apple, you get an iPhone, then you get the Apple Watch, and then, you know, you just kind of get in that ecosystem. I think that's what he's creating, which is fantastic.
Each to their own. Each to their own. But here's my take on it. Just his latest video is an attack. Samuel's strategy, in my opinion, is he's always trying to capture the audience of someone who's got his typical audience, such as Simon Squibb. Why do you think he's constantly attacking Simon Squibb? Simon Squibb is trying to, he has captured a mass audience of people who have entrepreneurial spirit, might want to start businesses. Perfect for Samuel's type of audience. That's why he's trying to do a collab with him. Whether it beef, negative press gets more attention than good press, as we know. And he's doing the same with Touchstone, a direct competitor. Touchstone have a bigger following. right? Try and create beef. Paul Smith never responds because he sees Samuel's strategy. Rob Moore responded into the boxing match, right? Samuel captured.
We were there for that. We were there for that.
Yeah, captured made himself more well known to Rob Moore's audience. You know, this is what he's doing. This is what he's doing. And what I see is he's given the audience an impression he's the authority in the space. Everybody should listen to me because of his tone. Yet 2 years ago, he's saying exact opposite. He's trying to destroy the likes of me and you. Maybe there's a lot of mentors now in this space, which is hurting his revenue, and he needs to kind of shut that down a little bit. But in my opinion, he's selling his product, which is the PIMS. He's gearing up to really drive it. Don't go there, don't go there. You don't need that, you don't need that. Get one product from me and you're covered. That's the true agenda from that video. Let's say, I'm just assuming here, his biggest slice of revenue is selling deal sourcing courses, right? This is possibly the lowest ticket. But then the student has to go away and sort all of this compliance out, get AML compliant. And like you said in that recent video, it might take 8 months. They could just buy his and it's done instantly just by purchasing it. Makes it seem very attractive. That's what he's gone away to task his team. Do the general public, if they buy a course, do they need to get those things? Or can they buy hours and they're covered? They've gone away, done the research. Yeah, if they buy hours, they're covered. Perfect. Right. How do we put a spin on this in terms of my marketing strategy where I can capture the audience of my competitors and make me look like an authority? That's what he's done, in my opinion.
He is day trading attention. That's simply what he's doing right now. And because attention sells. And if you can, and I think he knows, because he's not an idiot, he's a smart man, he's very good at business. I think he knows he's said in the past. And how can he not know? He said in the past, you need compliance, you need this. And I think he's hoping people will pick up on that because it's just going to bring more attention to the video, more attention to him.
Exactly this. What are we doing?
Yeah.
We're talking about
exactly. He's got us hooked.
Yeah.
Hook, line, and sinker. Like that.
I wouldn't say. I think people just need to see different perspectives, not just, oh, okay, I don't need that. That's a dangerous game to play. Like, and to sue your mentor is just being a bellend.
I saw that clip. That was an outrageous clip because surely he's opening himself up for a lot of.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Sue him, you got to win.
Between 2019, and that's only when you and I joined, 2019, up until 2003, where he made that other video. So that's 4 years of telling people he needs compliant. All of those students within just that 4 year period that we know should sue Samuel.
Yeah, we're going by his logic. And this is the thing. I was a massive fan of Samuel Leeds, and that's why I did his course. That's why I watched his videos. He got me into property. I've got a lot to thank him for. But
and everybody, he's opened the eyes of many, many people.
Yeah, he's fantastic at what he does. Yeah. Fantastic at what he does, and he's a great businessman. And again, can't thank him enough for introducing us into this situation, into this world. But yeah, there's some things like this lately. It contradicts it, and he was one thing I was always a massive fan of when he was always said the rich and the wealthy pull people up. It's your broke people around you that try and pull you down. Right now, I feel like he's pulling us down by saying stuff like this.
He's trying to pull us down. There must be so many mentors in the space now which are potentially hitting his revenue of the training business, and he'll claim it's not and it's irrelevant and he makes no money from the training business. I don't know. Might be the case. Who knows? But to go out there and tell the audience they should sue their mentor, and you do an amazing job. I try my absolute best. We're ethical. We're not just out to take people's money. We do our absolute best to ensure our students win. So for Samuel to say that to the masses, go and sue your mentor, it's just like, cheers, Samuel. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, I just wanted to say.
What about the good ones? What about the good ones? What if are there any bad trainers?
Totally agree. Just wanted to say, because obviously I sent all this to Debbie. If anyone doesn't know, I've got a business partner, Debbie, who, we run Jordan's property alongside each other, the mentoring, the training, the management, like everything. It's just us two run everything. And I sent her this video and I sent her a couple of voice notes and this, that, the rest. And she came back, and whether she'd like me quoting this or not, I don't know. But I think it's a nice thing to say. She said, it's exactly stuff like this that does my head in. We dedicate all of our time just to helping people just to get shat on. And I feel like that's quite accurate, because all it's going to take is one person to say, I want a refund, or I'm going to come and sue you. And it's like, we have given up so much of our time, energy. And what I don't think people understand is we do it massively below like national minimum wage. Like if you pay, our top course is £5,000, right? That's 12 months. You get rent to SA, rent to HMO, and deal sourcing training. So 3 courses, £5,000, and 12 months, 1-to-1, 24/7 mentoring. After 12, 18, 24 months, you just watch this Samuel Leeds video, you're now going to come back and try and sue me. I spent 24/7 for a whole year trying to help you. £5,000.
I'd sue you.
You'd sue anything.
Like, okay. It's people don't take accountability for their own actions. Like, as sad as that statement is, the majority of people don't. They blame They blame something instead of looking internal. In fact, let's say I bring on a mentee and 13 months down the line, they haven't got any result. They're going to blame me, even though many students have got results in that time frame.
Yeah.
They'll blame the training, or they'll blame something else, or their life got busy, so they couldn't focus on the training. So then they'd look for a refund or go to a solicitor. And it's like, just look internally. What did you learn from this? What should you have done? Like, I show up 4 times a week, 4 Zooms a week we run. Most mentors do 1 a week. I know you did quite a few as well. So to tell the audience to go and sue your mentor is just a dick move. Because my mentees are speaking about it this morning in the chat, like, Kenny, have you seen this? And I couldn't wait to, you sent me the video as well. So this is why we're jumping on this, just to give people a different perspective of Samuel's marketing strategy and what the true agenda is, in my opinion, is to drive his PIMS scheme. Make it look ICO, PRS, anti-money laundering are irrelevant, where they should just get his, where it's a lot easier. It might well be, but don't shit on all of the other mentors that are working hard.
It's like, what this is like. Oh, I wanted to say, first of all, you know this, I've told you a million and one times, you are the only other independent rent-to-rent mentor in the space that I trust and who I would send. If people say, come to me and go, you know what, I'm not quite right, I'm like, okay, try Kenny. You're the only person I'll send people to because I trust what you do. Granted, I've never been on your course, I've never gone through the system, I don't exactly know, but I trust you as a person. We've known each other long enough to have that trust, so I feel like, you'll be in safe hands with Kenny. So this whole situation right now, appreciate that, it's like, I don't know, KFC, right? KFC is Samuel Leeds. And he's going, if you go to any other chicken shop ever, and they've said this is the best chicken, or this is, I don't know, whatever, seasoned the best, it's a secret recipe, you should sue him. It's only us that do it right.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Love the analogy, using chicken.
I was going to go with McDonald's, but I was like, oh, maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to go with. But it's true, isn't it? You got the big dog who's trying to put everyone else. I mean, I'm not saying he's trying to put everyone else out of business, but I mean, he's telling everyone to sue us. So, yeah.
For me, Samuel's marketing strategy is quite clear. He's trying to grab the audience of his competitors, trying to make himself to be the authority. Bad press spreads more than positive press. So the task was to find out whether deal sources need to get this compliance, or can they use ours? Right? Is it mandatory they use anti-money laundering? Do they have to? His team has contacted TPO, AML. They've looked at it and thought, no, it's not mandatory to get that, but it's advisory to have something. So yeah, we can drive our product. He's got the outcome of the task. Now it's his marketing strategy to make a YouTube video. That's what people don't see is, he's very brash, he's disruptive. If he put out a positive video, would we be talking about it? Probably not. It's trying to grow his audience with his marketing. So fair play to the man. I still admire him. If I only seen it at face value, he'd probably piss me off. But I see his marketing strategy and I think, yeah, you're clever, but don't drag us down.
But look who he's been hanging around with recently. Well, I say hanging around with, met with recently again, Yeah. Andrew Tate, that's exactly what he does. I think he's seen the success he's got and is going, let me have a punt at this style of marketing, maybe. But I just wanted to share as well before we...
Same, isn't he? Rob Moore.
Yeah, exactly.
Andrew Tate. It just grows their YouTube channel.
Exactly. Just wanted to, before we wrap up, we believe we somewhat debunked it, I guess. We've, both got evidence to say that you do need certain compliances and this, that, and the rest. But from my own point of view, I know you mentioned it briefly earlier on, but I wanted to make it clear for the people. We're still going to sit here and say you need this compliance. I was fine from AML. So I was still sourcing, running a business, all that sort of stuff. I thought my AML automatically renewed. It ran out in December. I can't remember the year. And I thought it automatically renewed. Turns out I didn't realize until like May the following year that it didn't renew. So I went back to them and I spoke to them. I said, look, like this is, ran out. I need to renew it. But I thought, actually, let me speak to them and give them a full picture of what I do. Because if, best case scenario, they come back to me and go, you know what, you don't actually need it. Right. I thought I'll give them a full picture. I sent them statements. I sent them receipts. I sent them a full overview of my business, like absolutely everything that I do. And they came back, they reviewed everything. They came back and said, right, you've been operating without it. You do need it. I'm going to fine you. So I got a couple of £1,000 fine and I had to make up the payments for the payments that I missed. I got fined for not having AML while I'm running a property business. Granted, I was selling deals and I was doing this and I'm doing that. For me, if someone actually came to me to try and sue me based off what Samuel said, I think I've got the clearest evidence in the world that you need it. I have got emails back and forth from AML to say, you do need this for this business. Is your fine? And I've still got all the paperwork.
Also, going back to his video, he's pretty much destroyed bespoke deal sourcing. You can't build an investor list and share
Yeah.
information. Or can you actually? Can you build an investor list? Because all you're doing is collecting emails and names.
If you're storing their names and data for a business entity, you'll need your ICO.
Yeah, because you're grabbing the name, mobile number, and email on it. Yeah, so if you're building an investor list, if you're actively taking money before delivering a product, and you 100% need compliance.
Like Amazon, you buy the products and then you receive the product.
That's it. Exactly the same. So create the ebook, and that's what he's saying in this video. Structure it in terms of you're selling ebooks. All of your due diligence in one document and sell that.
I just don't think that's sustainable. But like you said, he's destroyed bespoke deal sourcing. But why I don't think it's sustainable, like you just said, you can't have an investors list. You can't build up them relationships and have them all there on file. So when you do get a good deal, you can't work with them investors. You've got to then just put it out to the masses and hope someone wants to buy that ebook.
That's
that
it.
PDF document of the property details.
And the only way that is going to work is if you're very present on social media and people know you and you've been doing it a long time and you've gained your audience trust just on social media. Then you put a post saying, guys, I've got a deal for sale. You get a DM, boom, sold. That's the only way you can do it, by having an online presence. If you're relying on email lists and people reaching out to you because if they're looking for a deal, it's not going to work.
I'm just thinking, if you get them to sign an NDA prior to giving them the details.
You don't need to sign an NDA to buy an ebook.
Oh, you don't? But in that sense, granted. However, I don't really know any deal sources that are just passing the full information out, especially if they're not a bespoke source, investor, or done previous kind of work with them. Trust them. This is complete. Just I'm talking.
Oh, 100%. No, this is kind of, like brain dumping. If you had a deal for sale, followed you for a very long time, I trust you. If you had a deal for sale, I'd just transfer the £3,000, let's say £3,000 sourcing fee, and then you'd send me the PDF document. That would be absolutely fine. By law, I have 14 days to do my due diligence to agree with you or not. And if I disagree on a strong, clear, data-driven reason why, lawfully, you have to return my money. But if you're just selling an ebook, you don't have to.
It's a digital product.
You've sold me the ebook, I bought it. So
this is opening scams.
That's a danger game.
Very much so. So for me, I'm still recommending get compliant, build up your list, make sure everything's safe, make sure everything's above board. That's what I'm still going to be doing.
Just from that conversation. Because people will just get scammed. It's like, no, I didn't sell a deal.
It's happening already.
I sold you an ebook. That's why
it's a digital product. It doesn't hold the same consumer rights.
Okay. So let's wrap up there.
People, do your own due diligence. Look into what you're going to do. And look, if you pay someone for information, you're paying for them for their information. Suing them just definitely is the right play there. You've paid them for their information to learn about that product. They are teaching you with the most and what I believe, I can only speak for myself, the most integrity and what they believe is right at that current time. Don't get me wrong, rules, laws, regulations change. So over time, things might change. But they're teaching the most up-to-date information that they have available at that time.
My advice would be, don't take everything at face value. Be a deep thinker. What's the actual reason behind this message? These people are YouTubers. We're YouTubers. Our strategy is just deliver value. That's completely different.
I want to help people. That's simply it. That's it for me. I want to help people. Properties allowed me to do this, to have the freedom. Like I said earlier, I live in Abu Dhabi now. I work remotely. I've got a couple of property businesses in the UK. Everything's done remote. I want to give people, they might not want what I'm doing, that's fine, but I want to give you the opportunity to do what you want and have that freedom. And I think you're doing the same. You want to give people that freedom for their life and not be work a 9 to 5 for the rest of life. If that's what you want, you're giving them the tools to build a life they want.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, till next time. Let's keep an eye on this story. I bet some future videos come out where he starts drip feeding PIMS. That's my take from this.
The book is saying about that. What are the odds?
This is the disruption and then drip feed PIMS in.
Potentially. I'm going to look more into that because that price has doubled since I looked at it 2 years ago. I find that interesting.
That video that was from 2 years ago, the price was just below £1,000.
Which is interesting. I'm gonna jump back into this.
But he makes no money from his training company.
Absolutely zero. So I want to dive back into that just really quick before we wrap up. In that latest video we did, when I was skimming through it, I heard him say, "Don't need money for compliance." But then that PIMS £2,000. So if he is doing what you believe he might do, I don't really know. Like, you don't need money for compliance, but sign up to a £2,000 PIMS. You know what? I wouldn't mind whatsoever is if he said, if you join the academy, you get this for free.
Depends how much it actually cost him to put together. I can't imagine it was cheap. So,
No.
I grant him charging for it because no doubt it has been a lot of value and time spent putting it together. But I just see his marketing strategy, in my opinion. I might not see it. I might be completely wrong. It's just, he's clearly saying you still need something. So, in his most recent video, ICO, anti-money laundering, PRS is all nonsense. And 2 years ago saying if you don't get this stuff, you could go to prison. And in between, and now, he's now selling PIMS. It's just like people need.
It's a massive contrast, isn't it? It's gone from you can go to prison because they want to make an example out of you to you don't need anything. It's complete opposite end of the spectrum. That
if he wasn't selling PIMS and he made that video where it's like you do not need this. Here's a proof. Like you definitely don't need this stuff, and here's the reason why. And he wasn't selling an alternative, motive around making that video, then I might look into it more, do my own research. Do you actually need this? But because he's got an alternative motive to sell PIMS membership at $2,000 a membership, that's the agenda of the video.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I want to say on the record as well, I do respect Samuel Leeds as a businessman. He is such a good businessman. And he's what, our age? I think you're a bit older than me. How old are you, Kenny?
37 and a half.
37. Okay. So I'm 30. So he's in between our age, I think. I think he's like 32, 33 or something like that. What he's built is absolutely phenomenal. What average 30-year-old build something like on this scale? It's absolutely phenomenal. He's a fantastic businessman. But I think like anything, if you're looking to invest in anything you want to do, you need to do your own research. And like I tell all my mentees, do your own due diligence, whether it's on mentors, whether it's on deals, whether it's on compliance, like anything, you have to do your own due diligence. Someone tells you something, great, but don't 100% take that as it is, because things change, rules change, and what was true a couple of years ago may not be true now. And that might be a situation of what we're seeing here. Maybe a couple of years ago, you needed your compliance, so you might go to prison. Maybe something's changed, but I'm not seeing anything change. I think you said before you're not seeing any rules or laws change. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens over the next
let's stay tuned.
couple of months.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. See you on the next one.
Appreciate it.
Joe.
Yeah.
Cheers, bro. Thank you very much.
We've finally done something together. It's great. Appreciate it, bro. Take care, all.